You know, for all the amazing things AI chatbots can do, don't they still feel a little stuck? Like they're just sitting there in a browser tab waiting for you to type something? Well, something is changing. There's a new kind of tool out there that doesn't just wait, it works with you, like a real teammate. And people are starting to notice.
And when I say notice, I mean they're saying some wild things. Take this user at Dajaset. They called it an iPhone moment. An iPhone moment. I mean, that's not just a cool new app, right? That's a total game changer in how we even think about technology.
Then there's this from another user, at Therno. It's just 2 words, but wow, it's running my company. Not, it's helping me. Not, it's a useful tool. No, it's running the whole show. Just think about what that even means for a second.
And if that's not crazy enough, it gets weirder. Check this out. Another user, at Hormold, said their Clawdbot, get this, accidentally started a fight with their insurance company. Yeah, and it actually worked. It got them to look at a case again. So we're not talking about a simple chatbot anymore. This thing has agency. It can cause real-world stuff to happen.
Okay, so when you hear all that, there's really only one question that pops into your head, right? How is any of this even possible? Well, the answer is that we're looking at a totally new kind of AI. We're moving past the idea of a passive tool, you know? We're stepping into the age of the proactive agent. And this thing, Clawdbot, feels like it's one of the first ones to really arrive.
So what is it really? Okay, Clawdbot is an open-source AI agent, and here are the key bits. You host it yourself on your own computer. It lives inside the chat apps you already use every day. It has a memory that never forgets. And this is the absolute game changer, it can actually access your local files and your system to do real work.
And this quote from @LifeCFY just hits the nail on the head. AI as teammate, not tool. That's the huge mental shift we're talking about. We're not just using a tool anymore, we're collaborating with a teammate. It's like going from having a dictionary to having a digital employee sitting next to you. And this really breaks down the difference, right? On one side, you've got your traditional chatbots like ChatGPT. They're reactive. You ask, they answer. But an AI agent like Clawdbot, it's proactive. It can start the conversation with you. The old chatbots are stuck in a browser tab. Clawdbot can access your whole computer. And maybe most importantly, with them, your data is on their servers. With this, it all stays on your machine. You own it.
All right, so we get the what, but what about the how? How does this lobster-themed AI assistant actually pull all this off? Let's pop the hood for a sec.
Okay, it really comes down to a few key ideas. First, it runs on your own stuff. Your Mac, your PC, even a tiny little Raspberry Pi. You're in control. Second, it talks to you through apps you're already using, like Telegram or WhatsApp, so there's nothing new to learn there. Third, its memory is just a simple folder of text files on your computer. And finally, the big one. You give it permission to see your files, run commands, and get stuff done.
So the way it works on a daily basis is super simple. It's like this. 1. You send a message to your Clawdbot, just like you'd text a friend. 2. Clawdbot, which is just running on your computer at home, gets the message. 3. It figures out what you want and does the thing. Writes some code, summarizes a doc, whatever. And 4. It just messages you back when it's finished. That's it. But this is where things get a little bit sci-fi. There's this framework it uses called Peekaboo. And with it, Clawdbot can literally see your screen. It doesn't need a special API or anything. It can look at any app you have open, understand where the buttons and menus are, and just interact with it. Clicking, typing, just like a person would. It's wild. Okay, so all of this sounds absolutely incredible, right? Maybe a little too incredible? And that's because with all this amazing power, there is some serious peril. We got to talk about the flip side, the reality of what it means to use a tool this powerful. So let's just ask it straight up. What's the catch? Why isn't every single person on the planet using this right now?
Well, for starters, this is how you install it. You see that? That's not a button in an app store. That's a command you have to type into a terminal. And right away, that tells you who this is for, at least for now. This is a tool built by techies for techies. And that brings us to a much, much more important point. This comment from a user on Reddit really says it all. This is a huge security risk for the average person. The key idea here is that giving an AI full, unchecked access to your entire computer, well, that is a really, really big deal. You absolutely have to know what you're doing.
So it really boils down to two major things you have to consider. First, there's a steep learning curve. You need to be comfortable with things like managing a server and using the command line. But second, and this is way more important, are the massive security risks. You are literally handing the keys to your entire digital life to an autonomous program. That's not something you do lightly.
But here's the thing. Even with all those risks, Clawdbot isn't just some niche experiment. It's a huge signpost pointing to a much bigger change. It's our first real look at what people are calling the agentic future.
I mean, just look at the raw numbers. This project has almost 42,000 stars on GitHub. In the developer world, that is a ton of interest and validation. This proves it's not just a toy, it's the beginning of a real movement.
And it's not just about Clawdbot. A study from IBM found that something like 99% of developers are already exploring this kind of agentic AI. The entire industry is sprinting in this direction.
And you can see it everywhere. Clawdbot is just one piece of this growing ecosystem. You've got things like LangGraph for big enterprise-level agents. You have Crew AI, which lets you build whole teams of AI agents that work together. And you've got AutoGen coming out of Microsoft Research. This is happening all over the place.
And this quote from @NathanClark_Gardrub just brings it all home, doesn't it? You have a smart model with eyes and hands at a desk with a keyboard and mouse. You message it like a coworker, and it just does what a person could do. That's the dream. That's the end goal here.
So, the technology for a real AI teammate isn't science fiction anymore. It's not some far-off dream. It's open source, and it's running on tiny computers in people's houses as we speak. So the only real question left is, your AI teammate is here. Are you ready to manage it?